Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, we tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
I'll ride with the horses, I'll swim through the sea, I'll climb to the mountain tops, won't you come follow me? I'll take time to notice all that I see, and after I've come so far, you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. But life is a vision, that's how it should be. The world is a canvas, and the choices are free. At the end of the journey, where all is complete, they'll all wonder where I've gone, but you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. Our dreams last forever, for all that we know. The roads come together, and that's where we'll go.
The pompous
and elite wish we go away.
because we are
real and direct.
no interest owns us.
And we have no interest but the truth.
Together we are exposing
Corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice.
Together.
We are fighting violence
Against women and children.
We here at
Kandit.
Will shine the light on every corner of darkness.
Together we are giving a voice
To the voiceless.
and forgotten.
stay lit.
Together.
Together,
Together.
together,
Together
We are giving a voice to the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Kandit News Group.
Good morning. Welcome to Candid News. Half a day.
Where's your mic?
Oh, shoot.
Good morning.
Good. Okay.
We have way better
redo.
bloopers than that.
Redo. Half a day and buenas, and welcome to Candid News. I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Troy Torres. Sorry, the coffee. Pretty good.
It is July 14, Tuesday, and I just spent the morning listening to the legislative, whatever that thing, whatever.
The hearing on the election.
Yeah.
The bills or whatever.
Yes.
What are they talking? Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll get into that. First, happy 41st birthday to Gerald Lujan. Can you cast to my screen?
Yes.
Happy birthday, Gerald.
Gerald's my gay best friend. And
you have straight best friends and a gay best friend?
No, there's just gay best friends and there's BFFs. You're the BFF. So Gerald's my gay best friend for forever and ever and ever since high school. And he's 41 years old today. Just a great person all around. And I also did show this picture because I looked good in it. But so does Gerald.
Happy birthday, Gerald.
Happy birthday, Cello.
Where's this at? It says my favorite puta is back in town. She looks great. Hashtag bitch with Gerald Lujan at 2 months hands plot. 2 months hands. Oh, we were at Join Us, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. If you notice the date on this is just less than 1 month after I was raided and arrested. And so, during this timeline of the creation of Kandit, there are people who have been there from ground zero, and then ground negative, yeah. And then those who when we started getting more into like first it was the revenge part, and there were a lot of people who liked that because it was very entertaining, and lots of names came out, and lots of true stories about people came out, and then but there were still people who were like, gosh, that's I don't know, I don't like that revenge thing is not Christian. And I didn't claim it at the time to be a Christian mother or anything.
Right.
But and then we started getting into the news because we started getting more interested in especially the crime stories. And then people started coming along.
But we evolved.
We
evolved.
We have transformed.
At the same time that all of this is going on, we were also in recovery mode from years of drug abuse. So I believe Kandit has helped me mold me into a better citizen. Yes. It has educated me to be more mindful about what is going on in our society, because I didn't care before. Now I care because of the disarray that all those public officials, including our parents, have left us in. So we need to, the thing that they don't want us to be is educated. So we need to educate ourselves, and that's where Kandit's headed. We got to stand up for ourselves because of how the previous people gave it to us.
Right.
That's the simplest way I could say it without sounding so mean.
Amen.
But I'll tell you this, after confession last Friday, I got worse. The things that were coming out of my mouth about people, I am sorry. Even if you didn't hear me say it, I apologize from the bottom of my heart.
I don't. I'm just kidding. Wait, can I just do a Ralph Torres challenge?
Yes.
Hey, what is?
You can do that while I eat this.
Holy smokes!
You gotta go like this. You don't
awesome.
Throw it in the air.
Like this?
Yeah, like.
Wait, let me do my holy smoke.
Holy smokes!
Hey, Cello, now I know.
Lao Mampus, he's greedy. Wait, here's mine.
Wait, what do you have?
I have Iris Kadu from 76.
This is a Malasadas. It's pretty darn good, actually.
You tilted that bag away from me.
Which one?
Holy smokes.
Holy smoke.
You have the pork choux pao, right?
Mongi.
I made your coffee different today. So it's the highly caffeinated coffee.
Of course.
I never get the other ones because we need the highly caffeinated stuff. We replace one caffeinated thing with another. But I made it with the caramel, the 2 packets of caramel, and then the 2 packets of brown sugar. Like, it's gonna make a difference.
You mean the raw?
Yeah, sugar in the raw.
Sugar in the raw.
Smoke.
Yeah.
Shit.
So,
This is so good, guys. It's Iris Kadu.
so happy birthday to Gerald.
Happy birthday, Gerald. I think
love
it's
you,
Prim's
girl.
brother's birthday, too.
Whose brother?
Prim's brother.
Oh yeah, Joey. Happy birthday, Joey.
I don't know if it's Joey or the other brother. Wait, he's on the phone.
Oh, he's on the phone. I totally forgot what was the next thing. There was
How about
happy birthday, Gerald.
the run or the
The
bike?
liberation thing.
Yes.
So John Concepcion and a group of veterans,
Freedom Grinders and GY671.
they do not want to let Liberation Day this year pass without doing a commemoration to liberation. Now, I don't know if this is the first time since 1950 that we're not going to have a parade. I'm not really sure. You know, because remember we had Super Typhoon Karen in 1962. I mean, not remember, but you know. Then we had Super Typhoon Pamela in 1976. I wasn't born yet, but I just, what I'm saying is I don't know if the liberation festivities were skipped because those typhoons happened. And then for as long as I've been alive, there's been like Super Typhoon Russ, Yuri, Pongsona, Paka, but there was, when was Chataan?
Just before Pongsona, right?
I know, but what month was it? Because it was in July. I'm pretty sure it was in July. What I'm wondering is, did we have liberation festivities that year? I cannot remember. Well, anyway. Well, then in that case. Oh, I remember now what we were going to do. Now, I cannot play too much of this because I don't want to get dinged for copyright. But, however, this is so funny. Hold on.
What?
Take a left, take a left. Take a left, take a left. Time to go. Take a left. Try intersection. Take a left, take a left.
I don't know who made that. But whoever you are, thank you so much. Paul Boss is one of the funniest people we know.
I've known Paul since we were kids.
I remember Paul when I went to JFK. And so just a recap, the viral video of the guy narrating a high-speed chase in front of his house, and he says, "Take a left, Chalu, go." That's Paul Blas. Paul Blas. They call him Cuxica. He lives in that area, right? So I must have been one of the first people to see it because I'm always Facebook trolling. I'm like, and then I come across a Paul Blas video, and so it says it posted 2 minutes ago. So I press play, and I'm just, before I share it, I watch it like 10 times, just rolling on the floor, laughing my butt off. And then I decide to share it, and by the time I share it, like I go back to Paul's thing, because I was like the first person to share it, and then I go back to Paul's thing, and like 10 more people had shared it, and within an hour, I think 13,000 people had seen it. It was shared 590 times. I was like, wow. Take a Left is going to be part of the Guam lexicon forever and ever now. It's just, and I believe Paul is coming up with t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
With a sign.
Yeah.
It has I'll tell you this though, those Toyotas can take a left. That was a 90-degree turn and a darn good driver. That is a darn good
And
driver.
I knew a woman was driving that.
Oh yeah. And you know, let me just say this. She's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman, and she just outdid those cops until she got to the tank farm. Why do you think the tank farm?
I just think she just went. She just was going for it.
Maybe
She's going
she
with
Yeah,
the flow.
she didn't have a plan, and she just said,
Maybe
you
she
know,
thought she could lose him.
I know the driver personally.
Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
my good friend.
She's awesome.
Her heart is awesome.
Yeah.
We all get into some rough times, you know.
Yeah,
I'm
of
not
course.
making excuses. She's my good, she's family to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, all I know is that when she's ready, I hope when she's ready, she's more than welcome to come and work here and make her life better.
Hey, if you need someone by your side, you want this woman, Maria Cepeda. you want this woman by your side.
Yes.
So I am not gonna knock her for anything.
Okay, there's our office phone is ringing, but I'm scared to answer it.
Why?
But we do need to get Mr. John Concepcion on the phone. Prim, can you put up the thing I gave you?
The liberation thing.
The liberation.
So John Concepcion is an Army veteran, and he and other veterans have put something together to help us commemorate the 76th, is it, anniversary of liberation? Yeah, the 76th anniversary of liberation.
So we're just gonna get him on the phone so he can explain this.
Hey,
What?
if I were like marketing for 76 Circle K,
Uh-huh.
I would totally do something for liberation this year. 76, you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. Here, we're calling Mr. John Concepcion. Here.
Hi, John. Hello.
Hi, half a day.
Half a day, John. You're on with Johnny, Eric, me, and Kandit Land. We have your banner up on our screen right now. Can you tell us what's going on and why you guys are doing this?
Solid. Okay, man, first of all, thank you for everything you're doing. So what we're gonna do is a 22-mile combined mile. So it's 11 miles. Start point is gonna be a naval base to EPOW and then Anderson to EPOW. So 22 is the magic number because there's 22 veterans a day that commit suicide nationwide. And we just want to share an awareness. It's a PTSD and suicide awareness march, and of course our liberation march.
Okay.
So you can at 5:00 you can go to Anderson, and then at 5:30 is Naval Station, right?
Well, if you're gonna walk, it's 5:30 on both sides, and then 6 o'clock is go time.
Oh, okay. So there's two meetup points.
Yes,
One at Naval Station and one at Front Gate to Anderson.
that's correct.
And then you guys are all gonna meet at EPOW.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Okay.
Hey, I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the walk one. I'm definitely.
Jeez, yes,
it's
come on.
definitely
Come
not
on
gonna
out.
be a run. I just don't know which. So
No,
we can
no.
choose-
The plan is to start together, end together. If you want to be who and all that great stuff, then so be it. But the main idea is to, show support and awareness and never leave a fallen comrade. So together is what we want to do it, how we want to do it.
Well, my main idea is to lose weight, but I'm just kidding. So
You can start anywhere in the route. I mean, if you don't want to do 11, you don't have to. I mean, shoot. I mean, you can do 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, or just be a EPOW. I mean, it's just something that needs to be done. The awareness here on Guam, the healthcare for PTSD is not that great. We have to go off island. I mean, there is some programs here, but for intense programs, it's we're sent off. So I'm trying to make it to where Gov Guam can say, hey, there's a problem here with our own veterans. So maybe we can collaborate and do something together. But I'm wishful thinking, but just an awareness.
well, this is awesome. Thank you so much, John. You want to do any shout outs to your team, your family, your lovely wife, Lisa?
Yeah. No, that's gonna take a long time, but I'm just trying to get all the veterans together. I mean, we don't. Got Your 671 doesn't discriminate against era, branch, service, gender, none of that stuff. No rank involved. So I'm trying to break away from that segregating part. I mean, we all have one thing in common. We all raised our right hand to defend the Constitution, and I'm just hoping that we can get along and do everything together so we can have a more powerful voice and finally get stuff done here in Guam.
Yes.
There's West Care, they're doing a great job. I just found out some of their programs for the homeless veterans. There's resources out there. I'm trying to link everything so we can just congregate in one building and say, hey, this is our headquarters. If you need anything, you're not alone. We're all going through the same thing. Even spouses and children, we cater to the spouse and children as well. I mean, because they've been holding it down at the home, and they're not really educated on how to deal with their veterans. So, it just causes divorce. It causes just problems. So I'm trying to make sure that that we are educated, and we're not alone, both spouses, veteran, and children. So it's just something that needs to be done. It's really sad that our veterans here are really struggling, but I want us to say, hey, here we are. This is our home. Come on down. If you want to eat something, then it's there. It's available. But yeah, I'm just reaching out. I just have a big vision, and I'm hoping that the community can get more involved with, because you can go to every house here in Guam and guarantee you ask them if you know a veteran, they're guaranteed going to say yes, or at least they know one. There's a veteran in every family here.
Actually, I think a couple of veterans, if I'm not mistaken, are watching our show right now, and maybe they'll be able to offer some assistance. They're running for Senator John Ananich and Frank Leon Guerrero. I don't know if there are other...
Fred Berdalio?
Fred Berdalio is a veteran. He's running for senator as well. You can get a lot of... We'll reach out to these people and see if they'll lend some of their star power. You know what I mean?
And also with Kandit, anything you need help with, we're more than happy to let the public know what's going on and what's available out there.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean, the biggest support really is just showing up and then hearing what we're all about. I can't express it enough that Guam needs their own homegrown chartered nonprofit organization to where we can take care of our own. We have the most veterans per capita, I believe, and it's just there's not really nothing going on. I don't know where the cutoff is. Maybe you guys can tell me. You guys know probably.
Well, we'll follow this definitely, and we'll be there.
Solid. I appreciate it.
Thank you, John. God bless you. God bless the USA.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye.
Edgardo Blancaflor says we need fireworks to scare off all the evil spirits.
Or palm leaves too.
So I guess we'll be blowing some fireworks off of Adelup, ward off the evil spirits. Fido Roberto says Karen happened on November 1962. Okay, so then the liberation thing already happened. Bunker says Pamela was in August that year, so liberation happened already. Judy Shockley says Chatian was July 4, 2002. I don't know why I don't remember that. That was my 22nd birthday. How do I not remember that? Oh, I think I know why I don't remember that. Carl Blas is rooting for his brother Paul Blas. Pam Duvall says, yes, thank you, whoever did that. Take a left, Cello, go. We all need to laugh like that over and over and over. Hi, Charlene. Jacob Nakamura says, can we request that all police chases please proceed to the Barragata Tri intersection area, please? Thank you. Vivian Rosario says, it definitely was hilarious. And Vivian also says she wants to know if we're hiring. Not right now, but, probably, hopefully in the near future, we will be. Brennan Foster says, Jigo in the house, good vibes. Lance Tysonov says, 4-wheel drive, baby. Was that, could you tell that it's a 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, 4Runners are usually 4-wheel drive.
Oh, is that why they're called 4Runners? Mm-hmm. It was lifted though, right?
Yes.
It was lifted a little?
Very nice car.
It looked really nice. Lance says, 4Runner lives matter. Mm-hmm. Or Runner lives matter. Vivian says, she definitely got balls. My brother thinks she's hot. Talking about Maria Cepeda. Bunker says she had it all random. Agreeing with what she said. Mm-hmm. Vivian, yeah. So Judy says Typhoon Chatan, that's 2002. Charlie Hermosa says, I will be there. We need to support those who are suffering from PTSD. Charlie is a Marine veteran, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I don't think they say that. I think they just say veteran. I'm a Marine, right? Marines, like, you never say that they're former Marines or something. I think that's a thing, right?
I don't know.
Your Air Force?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny's a veteran. She's an
No,
Air
I'm
Force
not.
veteran.
Stop saying that.
Yes, she is. She just
I'm
never
not.
did her paperwork. Charlie says, great job, John. Pam Duvall says, I was 4 years old when Typhoon Karen hit. Yes, I'm that old. You're not old. You're actually very pretty, Pam.
Beautiful. Even her daughters are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
When we posted the pictures of her, everyone's
And I'm like,
who's that girl?
And I'm like this. Hey, step back, okay? That's my friend's daughter.
Denise Legaspi says, hi there, Troy, Johnny, and Eric.
Hi, Denise.
Fita says, Pamela on...
May 76.
Saying May 76. Omar on August 92. Paka, December 97. Chat Ann, July 2002. Pongsona, December 8, 2002. Remember that? December 8.
Yes.
Denise says, is there anything to report on the Cannabis Board? No, because the Cannabis Board has done absolutely nothing. So the Cannabis Board had 12 months from April 4, 2019 to institute rules and come up with forms.
Yes.
So that business could start for the cannabis industry within 90 days of that 12-month deadline. This is all according to the law. And come March, the public health emergency started, and they conveniently had a reason to not adopt rules in April. But the question is, even if the public health emergency is an excuse, which we now know it is because they went into a meeting and said, oh, it's not going to be ready for a few months now. Even without that, the question is, what were they doing in the 11 months prior to the public health emergency? It's just, they're incompetent. That's all it really is.
They're busy. They're too busy.
Vanessa Williams is just incompetent.
No, she's just too busy doing other things.
No, I just think she's incompetent. She just doesn't know what she's doing and couldn't.
So then they need to put in someone else.
Yeah.
And what worries me about this whole cannabis industry thing is it kind of feels like somebody wants something to benefit themselves.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Absolutely.
that's the scary part about this.
Absolutely.
The slimy snakes are trying to get their hands in there
Ever
to
since the
make
Cabo
sure
administration.
these rules and regulations confer to their and how they're going to make money, and that pisses me off.
That's the thing about regulation by the government. The more regulation there is, the more you know that it has to do with benefiting someone.
Yes.
Someone's interest.
I agree.
Charlie Hermosa says, John Concepcion, I will reach out to you. We have been working hard to get funding for a Veterans Community Center, and we are getting closer through the Western Pacific Veteran Community Foundation. We are getting closer to getting the grants needed. Awesome. Awesome.
Charlie, I will send you John's number and vice versa. John, I will send Charlie your phone number.
Jason, who says half a day from San Antonio, Texas. What's Texas like these days? I hear there's like an increase in Wuhan virus stuff or Corona, whatever. Matt Geiger says, hello, cuties. Pam Duvall says they got stoned and they missed it.
I don't even think they get stoned. I think they're hoity-toities up there.
No, I think Will Parkinson gets stoned.
Well, maybe Will, but he ain't the chair.
No, he's not. And I think he's not the one that's, causing the issues.
Yes, I agree.
Jason says, wait a minute, I live 10 minutes from SeaWorld. Did we talk about Joanne Brown? No, we didn't, right? Or am I just putting that together in the wrong way? John says in reply to Charlie, solid, I'm new to this and I'm excited to be involved. And gives his number. Buenas, Jesse Mendiola. And it's because Jacob Nakamura, who pinned it, says good afternoon to everyone except SeaWorld residents. All right, let's go to the Guam Legislature. Are they live still? Or do we have to do the recap?
We got breaking news,
Yes.
Cello.
Oh, wait, we have breaking news? Go ahead.
For immediate release, Congressman Nicholas advises CARE Act funds be used for rent assistance. In a letter to Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, Congressman Nicholas forwarded a copy of the rental assistance program from Irvine, California, using CARES Act funds for rental assistance. Quote, with federal eviction moratoriums expiring, forbearance expiring, and the extra $600 in unemployment expiring at the end of July, Guam and the rest of the country are on the cusp of a housing crisis, end quote. The city of Irvine, California, using federal CARES Act funds allotted from the state of California, adopted a rental assistance program using those funds to support struggling households. Quote, while we are pressing for direct federal rental and mortgage assistance in the HEROES Act and HR 7301, both remain in the Senate as these housing deadlines approach. Congressman San Nicolas continued, it would be prudent for the government of Guam to model the California and Irvine usage of federal CARES Act funds to provide direct assistance to renters as a bridge to direct federal relief, Congressman San Nicolas continued. Doing so will prevent whole families from suffering a housing crisis on top of health and employment crisis. And with these available examples, actions can be taken now before it's too late. Congressman San Nicolas concludes.
Can we cast on my screen? This is the letter that Congressman San Nicolas wrote to Governor Lulian Guerrero. Now we're just going to have to put some sober reality on this, and that is, this is, I don't know, the 12th letter that the congressman has written to the governor since the public health crisis began, and it's probably going to be the 12th time that the governor will ignore what the congressman is saying. No matter how good the recommendations are, no matter how much he implores the governor to do what's right by the people of Guam and by these vulnerable communities, I don't know. I hope the governor listens. I hope she's getting different advice these days. And I hope she listens to the congressman and doesn't see this as a political one-up or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm tired of that. This is to help the people that are suffering.
And rental assistance. So there are people who are freaking out, you know, about with their ability to pay their bills. You know, are their cars going to get repossessed? Are they going to be kicked out of their homes? There's just so much of that worry and anxiety happening that I really hope our governor listens. And by the same token, you know, for our CNMI audience, the same kind of thing is happening to Congressman Gregorio Kalili Sablan when he makes good recommendations to Governor Ralph Torres, and all the governor does is attack Kalili. So hopefully the governor listens. We'll try to get a response from Adelup. They probably won't respond, but, you know, we'll try. Are we... Oh, Ken Leon Guerrero is testifying. Let's go to the Guam Legislature for the public hearing on the two election bills.
Replenished soon. So for the sake of public safety, cancel the primary election. For the sake of financial responsibility, cancel the primary election. Those are the comments I'd want to make. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ken, for just re-emphasizing what you testified earlier. Does any of my colleagues have any questions on Mr. Leon Guerrero at this point? Please raise your hand because I don't see anybody back here. No one? Thank you, Mr. Ken.
Thank you, Jeb, very much.
All right, take care. Now we just get our staff to come and sterilize the table, and then we'll have the Guam Election Commission come in. And they'll testify on both bills, and then we'll be able to wrap this up for both Bill 374 and 375.
They're cleaning right now. Sterilizing the table. There's Maria.
They're telling her, what are they telling her? Don't sit down until we sterilize the table?
So they sterilize.
I'm sorry. I mean, I guess that they're doing the right thing, right? Yeah. These are weird times we live in, for sure. So that was Ken Leon Guerrero saying cancel the primaries. I don't know what Dr. Ron McNinch was saying earlier, and maybe later this afternoon we'll provide the coverage from the beginning of this hearing. But do you know what Ron McNinch was saying?
I did not.
You didn't hear it?
I didn't catch that.
Juan Carlos Benitez was saying don't cancel the primary, right? Because essentially what will happen is there might be a runoff. And we'll just be spending the same amount of money anyway. I don't think so. Honestly, my political senses on this is Mike San Nicolas, even in a three-way race, is going to get more than 50% of the vote. That's just my thoughts on it. But who am I, right? Sandra Regis says it's hard times right now for everyone. Landlords, everyone wants their money, stressing people out, and a lot of people haven't received stimulus or PUA yet. Sandra Regis is a Republican candidate for senator, ladies and gentlemen. Bunker is a Democrat candidate for senator who says Lulu Bell will not give credit where credit is due. She has, wait, I'm sorry, is Bunker a Republican or Democrat? I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's a good candidate.
Thank you, Ms. Pangilinan, for your
She has
patience
no interest
and
for
your
the
staff.
people. I have so many friends, no
Now,
job, just like that, no more money.
In reference to both bills, we have received your packet, your testimony. I'm gonna believe that, or I'm just gonna safely assume you're gonna read from this first and then open yourself up to questions. Am I correct? All right, you may begin, Ms. Pangilinan.
Hafaday Guahu Si Maria Pangilinan, Executive Director of Election Guahan, Commission Election Guahan. Hafaday, Mr. Chairman, and members of the Mina 35 na Legislature in Guahan. The Board of the Guam Election Commission understands that we are in the midst of an unprecedented public health crisis. We should all be guided by the best available medical advice. The Guam Election Commission provides its comments on Bill number 374-35 and Bill number 375-35. While the GEC takes no specific position at this time on the proposed bill, it is imperative that the Legislature and Guahan understand that both bills have unintended consequences that may impair the 2020 election cycle. The GEC is prepared to conduct the 2020 primary election as required by Guam law and continues its efforts toward the 2020 primary election on Saturday, August 29, 2020. Federal law and Guam law require that off-island absentee ballots be postmarked by tomorrow, Wednesday, July 15, 2020, 45 days before the election. The GEC is prepared to meet its mandate and will proceed accordingly. Bill number 374-35 requires the GEC to prepare a different set of ballots that you have in front of you. Removing uncontested partisan races will still require 67 ballot styles for 19 voting districts. 2 of the largest districts, namely Tamuning and Jigo, will have a second side to the ballot. Canceling the nonpartisan race for public auditor will shorten administrative and tabulation processes by eliminating 1 ballot sheet, a cost savings of approximately $45,000. However, one unintended consequence may be a high number of crossover votes. The electorate may choose to vote for a Democratic congressional candidate and then vote for a Republican mayoral or vice mayoral candidate on the reverse side of the ballot. Tamuning and Jigo make up 20% of the 53,000 registered voters of Guam today. As for the voters' safety, the GEC intends to hire additional election workers to assist with COVID-19 preventive measures at the polling sites. Protocols include disinfecting voting booths after every voter, using thermometers, hand sanitizers, and personal protective equipment are all in place. Recruitment for precinct officials continues. To date, the GEC has received over 300 application forms, and training will begin soon. The 2020 CARES Act grant fully funds the cost of these additional requirements, so no local supplemental appropriations are necessary. With regard to Bill number 375-35, it is essential to note that for the congressional election, the successful candidate must garner a majority of the votes cast, at least 50% plus one, to be elected. With 3 candidates on the ballot, a runoff election may be required. Under the Organic Act of Guam, a runoff election must be held 14 days after the general election. Any potential cost savings for canceling the primary election may be negated should the results of the general election precipitate a runoff election. The Commission will provide comments at a later date on Bill number 254-34. In summary, the GEC is prepared to conduct the 2020 primary election as prescribed by current Guam law on August 29, 2020. And if the primary goes forward, we are committed to using best practices available to combat the spread of COVID-19. The GEC will be guided by the decision of Imina 35 na Legislature in Guam, Zani Magahagan Guam, on Bill 374-35 and Bill 375-35. Sizuas Mahasi.
I like her testimony. It was
Thank
so
you, Ms.
concise,
Ms. Pangilinan.
just to the point.
Senator Amanda, do you have any questions on our?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
I was gonna make a
Thank
fat
you very
joke,
much,
but
Madam
never mind.
Director, for being here, and Mr. Snagastine, thank you for being here as well. I wanted to know if you can elaborate on the CARES Act funding that we received. What was the total amount of funding, and if you can specify how that's being used aside from the additional staff or that we can pay for the election?
On April 16, 2020, Guam Election Commission received $600,000. We have spent a little bit of the money with regard to prepping the office for candidate filing come this past May 11th. So with regard to what our plans are to spend it, we have looked into hiring additionally 150 workers to work the polling sites. We are also looking into enhancing the stipend for precinct officials. We have not come up with the additional amount for precinct officials, but we do have permission and authorization to enhance the stipend for precinct officials. We have bought thermometers, the thermal scanner thermometers. We've bought some of the supplies. We're looking into getting the supplies for our homebound representatives as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you walk us through what kind of procedures you implemented for the Jonia special election? I know that we heard a little bit about it in the news and from some of our colleagues who experienced the election and said you had very good procedures in place. They felt very safe. Can you share a little bit with us and for our viewing public some reassurance of what you did that we know worked during that election?
First, I must preface it with, it was a single voting district election. So one of the very first things we did was try to assure the voters of Zotnia that it's going to be safe. One of our staff and I, together with the staff of the Mayor's Office of Guam, went around all of Zotnia the Saturday before the election, announcing that please come out and vote we will first off, we will try to be safe as much as we know. We will take your temperature. We will ask you questions, whether you've been coughing or any symptoms of COVID.
Sorry.
We will show you the hand sanitizer.
I think the message from the Guam Election Commission to the people of Georgia should have been, please come out and vote before you get stuck with someone else who's going to end up in district court jailhouse. Raided mailboxes for stash and beating women at parties that apparently marshals were at, which is, there was a KOAM story on that.
Because there was a hearing yesterday.
There was a hearing yesterday in the Mark Mayo case, and there's just explosive information coming out of the district court. But let's get back to the hearing. But before that, I just wanted to say, when it was on the shot of Senator Amanda Shelton, you know, I didn't know that you can dye a panda's hair blonde. It's amazing what you can do these days with technology. Let's go back.
That's 5 people in the room. We train them to disinfect the voting booths before the use of a voter and after every use of the voter. One of the biggest changes that happened at the Jotnia special election was that there were more curbside voters. So our staff acted as election workers during the day, and we had 3 lines coming into the curbside voting section. So you know what the impact was. Across the polling sites, we are used to just having 1 sheet of curbside voters. Mm-hmm. In Zortnia, we had 6 sheets almost full on the 6 sheets. Every sheet has 12 names of curbside voters. So we are preparing to increase our capacity for curbside voters on election day.
And what is the requirement to qualify for curbside voting?
We're looking into it
first,
so that
Senator.
we can minimize the bottleneck, because we had bottlenecks. But right now, it's, you know, we implore the public that if you're not feeling well, if you're a person with a disability, if you're not feeling well that day, you're welcome to avail yourself of the curbside voting service, just so the public knows. Curbside voting takes much longer than actually walking into the polling place. So there are no strict strict requirements for curbside voting. We are looking into how to mitigate the backup with that process.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's good information for the public to hear. Now, with this CARES Act money, I know that you already shared what your plans are. Is there a possibility to use that money to open more polling places?
Yes, possibly. One of the concerns of our GEC team is that with any change, there's bound to be mix-ups. So what we did at MU Lujan in Zortnia was, instead of using the cafeteria, we used 3 separate rooms, where in the past, all 3 precincts were in the cafeteria. We spread it out across three distinct classrooms, 2 classrooms and the cafeteria. Yes, in fact, when at the meeting last night, that was actually discussed about more polling sites. We will let you know that we are a little bit concerned about mix-ups, in terms of whether I should go to this polling place or not, or which polling place to go to.
So perhaps it won't actually be a different location, but you'll open up more classrooms if it's in the school, or more rooms if it's in the mayor's office, and spread it out that way.
Possibly, and we are open to opening additional polling places if that's the best, if that's what's best suited for the upcoming election.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I have a question about in-office voting and early office voting. So what is the requirement for someone to avail of that?
Okay. The Guam law does not permit us to accommodate early voting. Guam law permits the Guam Election Commission to implement in-office absentee voting with excuse. What that means is that 30 days before the election, starting on July 30th, if you're going to be off island, if your job as a nurse or doctor does not allow you to go to the polls on August 29th, if you're a person with disability, you may come to our office starting July 30th from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. to vote in office. Just so you know, in-office voting also takes a little bit longer than going to the polls. In-office voting requires that the voter completes an affidavit that needs to be notarized and then signs off. And after voting the ballot, the voter must put the ballot in a ballot envelope, seal it, put the ballot in an affidavit envelope and seal it, and only then can he or she cast the ballot.
Can we turn this down?
Okay, so that would only be for absentee, meaning that you are going to be off island at the time of the election. There's no
Senator Amanda Shelton, she really should have come to this hearing prepared. She's asking about stuff that she should, as a senator, already know about. These are existing processes for the election. Matter of fact, Bunker calls it out. He says, she was told to ask those questions 5 months into COVID. Most people already know about the screening processes. Amanda is incompetent, a waste of time. And then Bunker says, old news. John or Jovi says they should allow us to text our votes in, just a thought. And Don O'Carroll says would work, but verification of the person is either old enough or eligible to vote would be a nightmare. Mike Rosansky says that would be bad, can't control it. Don says, how about drive-through voting? You know what I've always been suspicious of is the early voting. So what Maria Pangilinan just said was starting July 30, which means if there's a primary election, then it's basically 30 days later, and August 29 is the day of the election. So basically for 30 days, you have these ballots in an office that does not have security, where you can, from the lobby of the second floor of the, what's that building called?
GCIC?
Of the GCIC building, go through the door by going up into the ceiling, because it's just the ceiling tiles. And the reason I know this is because when there was a recounting of ballots in 2010, the Cabo Tenorio campaign didn't trust the Gutierrez, who was the running mate then? Gutierrez-Uggan campaign during that period, and so Denancy security was sent over because GEC had said that there was going to be no security at the building. So Cabo Tenorio sent Denancy security to guard the second floor lobby to make sure no one was, there was no funny business going on. It wasn't that there was a distrust of the Election Commission, but there was a distrust of people breaking into the Election Commission and tampering with the ballots, because you have ballots there for, in the case of early voting, for 30 days. I mean,
yeah.
I would not vote early because I want to make sure that my vote counts. So I'm just going to wait for Election Day and vote on Election Day. And I understand why they do it. It's to accommodate all these people, but it's just, the government probably needs to provide more funding to the Election Commission for the security of the election in a case like this. And you heard Maria Pangilinan say, we could use more money to pay the precinct workers more because they're having problems finding precinct workers because everyone's like, hell no, COVID. Mm-hmm. Would you do it? It's $350 for 12 hours of work. Is that what it is? maybe 13 hours. Oh no, I think it's in shifts. So it's not even 12 hours of work. It's like 6 hours of work.
No, I can't. I'll be a bully.
350. No, that's what they need, because some people are unreasonable when they go and vote. They don't have their identification, and then they make a stink about it. You know what I mean? And it's the precinct workers that have to deal with that.
They're gonna call 911 on me.
350 divided by 6. That is $58 an hour. That's like Jane Flores. You can be paid like Jane Flores on election day. Let's see what else is going on here. Mike Rosansky says all those procedures Amanda's asking have been in place for years. Jovi Castro says, I think they can, if we can apply for PUA online. I don't see why they can't for voting, talking about the texting. Jacob Nakamura says, a bit like the fox guarding the hen house, wasn't it? Denancy, ha ha ha.
Yeah, that was Ray Tenoy's family.
That was Ray Tenoy, yeah, that was his family. Mike Rosansky says, this Free Willy Shelton. Sorry, girl. You were out next term. You young and still dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Bunker says, a distraction to draw confusion to Manda Panda. You made up your mind and power to you for standing your ground. Loyalty is a good quality in any person, but to be loyal only for the benefit of the 1% of our island's riches. They don't care about the rest of the people.
Amen.
Yep. Sandra Rages says there are 2 Democrats running for Congress. Let's go back to the hearing and see if there's anything interesting going on.
Must send them out tomorrow. Okay, you will cover voters. We must send them out tomorrow. And just so you know that we're not allowed, current law, to mail out absentee ballots to on-island addresses. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm hoping that I answered all your questions, but if I didn't address a specific question, let me know, please.
No, I think that's very helpful for us to just kind of get a better picture. And Mr. Chair, if I have any additional questions for Ms. Pangilinan and the GEC, I'll be sure to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Kelly Marstein, ma'am, do you have any questions on
Here we go.
The
Karen
questions that were asked, so that it's clear. When you were saying not allowed to mail to on-island addresses, is that with the current law, or is that a federal regulation?
It's a current law.
Does it matter? It's common sense.
It's in the Guam Code.
Okay, so in the Guam Code, I just wanted to clarify. So,
Senator Kelly, just so you know, that was looked at maybe even before my time in terms of whether absentee ballots could be mailed to on-island addresses, and again, it was looked at since I've been there, and both times legal counsel said no.
Okay, and so what you've been doing thus far is the in-office voting, and so that's been going on for a long period of time, if maybe not since the beginning. So, okay, thank you for that clarification. And it's good to hear that there have been 300 applications for personnel that you can look through and conduct the interviews to see about hiring them to run the elections. Will you be able to use them, or would that process be affected in a certain way? But I guess more so, would you be able to use those personnel if the election is modified, canceled, or postponed? How is that going to impact what you're doing with those 300 applications?
Okay, hopefully we will be able to use them for the general election. So if the primary election is canceled, we will be able to use them for the general election. If the primary election goes on, just so you all know, we're a little bit late in training. And the reason our training normally starts first part of July. Our biggest challenge sometime, as we began our preparation for the primary election, is recruitment of precinct officials. And hence, one of the questions we asked our Fed point of contact, can we enhance that, their stipend, to maybe give them incentive to come and work the election? And they said yes. On another note, social distancing and the number of people that can be in a room, we're going to have to train 335 people. And we're going to have to do it between next week and August 29th. That's a challenge to take. So our young staffers at the Election Commission have embarked in putting parts of the training online. We've begun videotaping parts of the processes yesterday, and we will continue to do that. So now, instead of having 3-hour trainings, we're probably going to have them view the training videos online. Handbooks will be available, and then they will come in an hour and a half, Monday through Saturday, every day, 6 days a week, and we will finish before the August 29th.
Can you repeat for me, because I think I typed it in incorrectly, how many hours of training there are in total?
Oh, so I think, Senator Kelly, in terms of training sessions, I don't have that at hand, but you can do the math. We are limited to having 25 people in the room. And we have 335 precinct officials to train.
Tell them.
So divide that. Plus,
I see. That's how the hours.
Yes.
Because when I took 3 hours, I needed to be walked through a little bit about how that became several days. But I've got it. Obviously, there are the space limitations.
But you have to add on training for the additional 150 election workers we're going to have.
So, one.
And in your testimony, it was also important to hear about possible unintended consequences. As we've been talking about all morning, we need to think of this as thoroughly as possible. And I agree with you that while we're looking at this situation, we really need to hear from medical professionals, public health, as to where we're at, what the possibilities are, to truly understand that side of it. And it was good to hear about some of what went on in Zonia, how you were able to adapt and spread out, find out from those test runs which elements took a little bit longer and how you might be able to streamline them. So are there other lessons that you've learned or research? I know your office is continually doing research right now because you want to put your best foot forward for all of us. Is there continued research that you've done that is going to help you, or that you can be implementing if we do go through with the primary? Are there those other lessons other than Zonia?
Our staff closely watches the our Guam Department of Public Health and Social Services website, as well as the CDC website. And I keep in touch at least once a week with public health. So we are anxious to hear, we continue to dialogue with them as well. Just so you know, Senator Kelly, we are part of our plan, part of the 150 workers is one school nurse possibly at every polling site. I failed to mention that in Zonia, we hired the MU Lujan school nurse to be there once the voters start arriving, and she didn't leave until the last voter left. So we're hoping to be able to get at least 22 school nurses possibly, and to come and help us at the primary election.
Very good, and that's a good assurance for us as we're considering this. So some of the discussion we've had thus far this morning is about the Manumco. You know, our understanding still is that they're the most vulnerable, although we are seeing cases across all age groups right now to certain degrees. So is that one of the considerations that you've thought about or could think about? Could there be some way Manumco hours at the beginning, or a Manumco lane, or a Manumco
Can we come off
curbside
this?
voting? Have you given that any consideration, and what do you think of some?
Just go ahead and cut the public hearing. This is ridiculous. This is supposed to be a hearing on whether to cancel the primary election or not, and the senators are using it as an opportunity to talk about a reform of the entire election process. It's so convoluted. I don't know if these senators are just trying to get some airtime or whatever, but Manumco hours is not germane in any way to the bills at hand. The question is, should we have a primary or not? Or if we're going to have a primary, should we cut out the uncontested races? I think most of the testimony you're hearing says that, and most of the logic really is, you can't just cut the uncontested races. That's wrong. Cut the primary or don't cut the primary for whatever reasons there are. You know, I'm kind of leaning, now that all of this discussion is happening, I remember you were talking about what Bob was saying about interfering with an election this close to an election. I'm kind of leaning that way. Like, just
leave
don't
it alone.
Leave it alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody needs to take personal responsibility. I want to vote as a citizen.
Yeah.
That is my right.
Yeah.
So leave me alone.
Yeah.
Let me vote.
Yeah. Especially with the election commission having to mail those things out tomorrow. So they can meet their federal deadline. It's like, leave it alone. Leave it alone. And so
I'm with Bob on that.
We'll see where the legislature goes with that. We're going to take a break where we're going to cut the stream. And when we come back, the second half of our show, but we'll have a new stream ready. Stick with us when you get the alert on Facebook. Are we on YouTube as well?
Mm-hmm.
We are. Or your alert on YouTube. Just please rejoin us. We'll be back with more interesting discussion with our brothers and sisters, or about our brothers and sisters in the Northern Mariana Islands. And just because it's not about Guam, trust me, the CNMI news is way more interesting than the Guam news anyway. For Kandit, we'll be right back.